The last message.
Some people believe everything can be explained, that the universe runs on logic, on code, on cause and effect.
They are wrong.
This is the story of four strangers, four lives running in parallel. Four people who had never met and never should have, but something found them. Something that should not exist. A message sent from nowhere, received by everyone. And it said only one thing. You will die tomorrow at 8:01 p.m. The first stranger was a man who believed in nothing he could not prove. His name was Elias, and on the night it all began, he had been sitting on the cold floor of a server room for 12 consecutive hours. Elias did not celebrate. He simply moved on to the next problem. That was the thing about Elias. There was always a next problem, always another line of code to check, another system to fix. The server room hummed around him like a living thing. Cold air, blue light, the smell of metal and electricity. This was his world, controlled, logical, safe. He was not the kind of man who took breaks. He was the kind of man who believed that every problem had a solution, and every solution had a source. In his world, there were no mysteries, only questions that had not yet been answered. His colleague Marcus watched from the doorway, holding 2 cups of coffee he had long stopped believing Elias would drink. You've been in here for 12 hours, Elias. The bug isn't real. It's a phantom glitch. Let it go. There are no phantom glitches, Marcus. Computers don't believe in magic. They follow instructions. If a system crashes, it's because someone, somewhere, wrote a bad line of code. Everything is predictable. Elias's fingers never stopped moving. His eyes never blinked. Lines of code cascaded across the screen like a language only he could read. And then he found it. See? Cause and effect.
You're going to die alone with a motherboard in your hands, you know that.
If I do, I'll leave detailed documentation. Elias smiled. It was the smile of a man who had never once been surprised by the world, a man who had never lost a night's sleep to something he could not explain. He had no idea that in exactly 24 hours, he would lose everything he had ever believed. The second stranger was a woman who believed she could outrun death itself. Her name was Sarah. She was 28 years old, a paramedic for 6 years, and she had never once accepted a loss without a fight. On this particular night, she had lost, and she was still fighting. The ambulance moved through the rain like a ghost, its lights bleeding red and blue across the wet city streets. Inside, Sarah scrubbed at her hands with a sanitizer wipe, as if she could wash away what had happened. We did everything we could, Sarah. The guy had a massive coronary before we even hit the sirens. It was his time. Don't say that. Fate, destiny, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes the universe just pulls your ticket. Fate is an excuse for being too slow. We lost 3 minutes in traffic. If I had pushed the epi sooner, his heart would still be beating. I control who lives in the back of this rig, David, not the universe. Sarah threw the bloody wipe into the bin. She sat back against the cold metal wall, staring at the ceiling, exhausted. Her hand found her phone without thinking. She pressed the button to check the time. 7:45 p.m. She had no way of knowing that in 16 minutes, everything would change. The third stranger believed in everything. every conspiracy, every theory, every crack in the fabric of reality that most people refuse to see. His name was Jonas, and tonight he was screaming at the internet.
I'm telling you, chat, it's all a simulation.
Look at the Mandela effect. Look at the double slit experiment. The universe only renders when we look at it. We are just NPCs waiting for the developers to push an update.
Crazy.
I'll show you crazy. One day, the code is going to break, and when it does, you'll see the strings. But even Jonas, in all his wild certainty, had never imagined that the code would break tonight. The fourth stranger was different from the others. She did not seek answers. She did not fight against the world. She simply watched it. Her name was Leah, and she was sitting on a bench in the middle of a city square, drawing a bird. Leah had never told anyone about the bench. It was her secret, her quiet corner of a city that never really stopped moving. In a world full of noise, she had found one small pocket of silence, and she intended to keep it.
She had no phone in her hand,
no screen between her and the world, just charcoal and paper, and the quiet scratch of one line becoming another. While the city moved around her like a river around a stone, Lee sat perfectly still. Above her, a digital billboard on the side of a glass tower ticked silently through the seconds. 7:58 p.m. 4 strangers, 4 different rooms, 4 different lives. None of them knew each other, none of them had ever spoken, and yet, in 3 minutes, all 4 of their phones would light up at exactly the same moment. The server room went silent. The ambulance cut through the rain. The stream kept rolling, and Leah kept drawing. 7:59 p.m.
8:01 p.m.
All 4 phones lit up, at the exact same second, sent from an unknown number, an impossible number, a number that did not exist on any network in the world. The message read, "You will die tomorrow at 8:01 p.m. And below those words, a single line that none of them could explain. It said, "I have been watching you, all of you, and I need you to find each other before it is too late." Elias stared at his screen. Sarah stared at her phone in the back of the ambulance. Jonas went silent for the first time in 6 hours. And Lee, who never checked her phone, felt it vibrate in the pocket of her coat. She read it once. She read it twice. Then she looked up at the billboard above the square. The glowing red numbers had stopped. They were frozen, all 4 digits reading 801. And then, all at once, every light in the city went out. The last message had been delivered. The clock had started. And somewhere, in the darkness, something was already moving. Elias sat in silence, staring at the server room ceiling. His mind ran through the logic of it over and over. Someone had accessed a closed network. Someone had targeted 4 specific people. Someone had sent a message that was technically impossible to send. He needed to find out who. He needed to find out how. And then, somewhere underneath all of that, a question he could not logic away. What if it was true? Sarah did not put her phone down. She read the message again, and again, and a third time. A paramedic does not panic. A paramedic assesses. She assessed. The message was real. The timestamp was real. The unknown number was real. She had seen people die from heart attacks, from car crashes, from things that no one saw coming. She had always believed she could fight back. Now, for the first time in her life, she was not sure. Jonas went completely silent for the first time all evening. 4,000 people watched him read the message. Read it again. His chat exploded. But Jonas did not see the chat. He was staring at the words on his screen. Words that should have been impossible. Because Jonas had spent 3 years telling the world that the code would break. And now, looking at his phone, he was terrified that he had been right. And Leah simply looked at the message for a long time. Then she closed her notebook. She put the charcoal pencil carefully into her coat pocket. She looked up at the dark city. And for the first time in 3 years of sitting on that bench, she stood up before her drawing was finished. 4 strangers, 4 phones, 1 message, 24 hours. Whatever sent that message had chosen these 4 people specifically, not at random, not by accident. It knew their names, it knew their numbers. It had been watching them, and now it wanted them to find each other. The question was not whether to believe it. The question was why. Why these 4? Why tomorrow? And who, or what, was already moving in the dark? Somewhere in this city, 4 people were holding their phones in the dark. 4 people who had been strangers 1 minute ago. 4 people who were now connected by the most terrifying message any of them had ever read. The clock was ticking. 23 hours and 59 minutes remaining. They did not know each other's names. They did not know each other's faces. They did not know that right now, at this exact moment, 3 other people were sitting in the dark, feeling exactly what they were feeling. Afraid, confused, and unable to look away from those words on their screen. You will die tomorrow at 8:01 p.m. Those words would change everything. Because somewhere in this city, whatever sent that message was not waiting. It was already watching. It already knew what would happen next. The only question was whether they would figure it out in time. The city was dark. Every screen had gone black. Every streetlight had cut out. For 30 seconds, the entire world held its breath. And then, one by one, the lights came back on. But something had changed. Everyone could feel it. Something in the air was different. Something had shifted. And 4 people, scattered across the city, each alone in their own silence, each staring at the same message on their screen, knew exactly what it was. Elias, Sarah, Jonas, Leah. 4 names that meant nothing to each other. 4 lives that had never crossed. Until now. Until this moment. Until a message arrived from nowhere and changed everything. The man who trusted nothing but code. The woman who refused to let anyone die. The boy who screamed at the sky and called it research. The girl who sat alone and watched the world move without her. 4 completely different people. 4 completely different answers to the question of how to survive. And now, all 4 of them were about to face something none of them had answers for.
Next time on The Last Message, 4 strangers receive an impossible warning. Now they have less than 24 hours to find each other, to find the truth, and to find a way to survive. But in a city that has just gone dark, trust is the most dangerous thing of all.
Somewhere in this city, a clock had started. 23 hours and 59 minutes. That was all the time they had. And somewhere in the dark, whatever sent that message already knew exactly how it would end. Would Elias trust the logic of the impossible? Would Sarah fight a fate she could not see? Would Jonas finally face the truth he had been shouting about for years? And would Leah, who had spent so long watching the world, finally step into it?
Episode 2, coming soon.